Hello, what have we here?
Welcome to IDP Nation, the place for IDP and draft coverage. We are your hosts, Dan and Daryl. We have you covered from your LB1 year taxi squad. We are IDP Nation.
Welcome to IDP Nation. I am your co-host, Hollywood Titan, and I'm joined by my co-host at Kyle Bellafuel. What's going on, Kyle?
What's happening, Hollywood? Glad to be back, man. Been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a few days. It's been as the kids would say, it's been a minute.
Been a minute.
We kind of got off track, and the Super Bowl happened, and all that good stuff. So it feels good to be back. I've missed this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Always enjoy talking football and hanging out, man. Yep, a lot going on, but life happens, right?
Yep, and I still don't have Dan here to tell me what to do or how to act. I can do whatever. So, all's good there. That's a win-win in itself. So, we still miss Dan. He's doing the homes. He's doing the virtual stuff, and it's just too much for him right now. I get it. When you're online all day, you don't want to sit at night and watch a computer. So we get that. Hopefully he'll come back pretty soon. But until then, Kyle is hammering it down. Thanks, Kyle, for filling in. Love it, man. No. I mean, you've done a great job. So,
no, thanks, man. I appreciate it, and appreciate you having me on, man. It's a lot of fun.
You got some big shoes to fill because I'm just going to get it out of the way right now. When I'm in one of these moods, Dan's here to reel me in. So if you don't reel me in, this is on you. You let me go wild. This is all on you, bud.
That's not a strength of mine. I'm usually the one that just lets it roll. So I'm not much of a reeler.
It's all right. We would
be fun though.
Well, I don't know how much fun it is if you're in Dan's shoes. So. For me, it's pretty damn fun because I love it. But whatever. Hopefully, I won't call you a dirty, rotten. You know what? You like I did, Dan. So
we'll see.
Yeah, there's always time, right?
Lots of it.
Yeah. So I mean, he'll be back hopefully pretty soon. Don't know what he's got going on with his teaching and all that, but I'm sure everybody misses him, but me. Because I'm having the time of my life right now. This is like the life of Riley right now. So, and I'm Riley. So, hey, I'm living it up. But
deep down somewhere you miss Dan, though.
Do I though? Let's see. That would require you to have this thing I hear about called feelings, and that's from what I hear. That's like a whole deal, and I just don't know that I have that in me, but whatever. We'll see. But yeah, screw you, Dan. So let's get rolling. We have an action-packed night. No guest tonight. I don't know if we can handle a guest tonight with what all we've got going on. Our main event's going to be lit. We've got a ton of listener questions. And thank you to everyone, because when we posted this, I did not expect this many questions. So
awesome stuff.
Yeah, they've been coming left and right. So we'll get as many of those as we can. Before we get to all that, let's get into the news and notes. I know it's been a little bit. So we'll start right from the top. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win Super Bowl 55. I didn't expect it to be quite the blowout, 31-9. I thought it would be a lot closer. But I have to toot my horn here, because I said back this time, well, about a week from now, this time last season, when Brady went to Tampa Bay, I was like, if he gets to the Super Bowl, he's winning this thing. And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, I hear you. I got you. He might not make it to the Super Bowl. I get it. But if he does, book it, because he ain't going to lose. I'm telling you, right. He's not going to lose being the first time a team has had a home game at a Super Bowl. He's not going to lose his first Super Bowl without Belichick and the Patriots. It just wasn't going to happen. Did I see him getting there? No. Honestly, I didn't think he would get there. I thought somebody would beat him. But I knew that if he did, wrap it. What do you think about the Super Bowl, Kyle?
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected either. I certainly didn't expect 31-9. The Chiefs' offensive line injuries showed up with Eric Fisher getting hurt and them having to shuffle the offensive line around. Tampa was able to get a lot of pressure just with their defensive linemen with JPP and Shaq Barrett and Sue. They got plenty of pressure and they kept their safeties back to prevent the big play to Hill. And I mean, hat tip to them that they had a game plan, executed it, and they gave Mahomes all kinds of problems. So on defense, and the offense did what they had to do, right? Brady to Gronk, like they've been doing forever, just in different jerseys. So
right. And honestly, I thought Kansas City would play this close regardless. I thought they'd be up late, and I thought Tom Brady would throw the game winner. That's kind of where my thought process was. But man, right out the gate, that second or third series or whatever it was, I was like, Gronk's going to be a problem here.
Yeah.
He's not done a whole lot during the season, but that's not why you brought him to Tampa Bay. That's not why TB12 said, hey, Gronk, pass up that 24/7 belt you got and come down here to Tampa. Because he knew when it was on the line and when it mattered, he knew his guy would be there. And, 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Right.
I don't know that he's not the Super Bowl MVP, and there's many players. Devin White had a game. Can't say that he wouldn't be there. Shaq Barrett. How about Ndamukong Suh? 1.5 sacks.
Yep.
It's hard to say that he wasn't MVP of the game. So many options, but I get it. They're going to give it to Brady because he's
right.
It's a quarterback-driven league. That's just where it is. But I did not see a 31-9 blowout by any means.
No, I didn't either. Mahomes was running for his life the whole game, and he did as much as he could to keep plays going and spinning and running, and it just wasn't there for him. It's kind of, it's a little disappointing to see that offense sputter like that in the big game because they wanted to see the dueling offenses, quarterback stuff. But it is what it is. Tampa Bay played a hell of a game and certainly earned it.
Yeah, and not to dwell on it too much. I get it. They had some injuries on that offensive line that hurt them.
Yep.
And that's just things you have to deal with. With Fisher being healthy, not having that torn ACL, does that make a difference? I'm sure it does, but there's always these types of injuries and things that happen. So, you can't really dwell on it. The penalties, that's a big thing.
Penalties were big.
And I get it. Penalties were huge in the first half, but if you look at the second half, these penalties weren't there. And the fact that, the first half they were, and some of them were kind of questionable. But even in the second half, when these penalties seemed to disappear, Kansas City still couldn't score a touchdown. They didn't score a touchdown the whole freaking game. The whole game
for 4 quarters.
So, I think there was opportunities there for them to get back in it. I just, sometimes when you play a ball game, the tone is set early. You can feel it. You can see it.
Yep.
And somebody asked me, we were talking about it the other day. I don't remember who it was. And I'm like, it may have been you. And I'm like, look, Tampa Bay if they beat Green Bay and go to the Super Bowl, you can wrap this. First of all, Tom Brady's not going to lose this. He's not going to lose the first time ever a team has had a home game, an actual home game, Super Bowl. He's not going to do it. He just had too much on the line. And you see why he brought Gronkowski, and you see why he brought Antonio Brown in.
Yeah.
And really, that wasn't even the story. It was that freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense.
Yeah, they were awesome.
They freaking brought it, and they've been bringing it for the last few weeks. you even go back into the regular season, forget the postseason, back, 14, 15, 16, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, here coming up. But, those last 3, 4, 2, 3 weeks of the regular season and this postseason, that defense, man, was freaking legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a really good defense, and they showed up in the big game, that's for sure. They had a game plan, executed. Like I said, they got pressure with just their D-line, so they didn't have to blitz as much as they regularly do. So they made it hard on Mahomes, and they didn't. They they kept their safeties back to prevent the big play to Tyreek Hill, and Kelsey obviously did some damage with his stuff, but it was they had a game plan, executed it, and Tampa played a hell of a game, and definitely deserved it. So Brady gets another one.
He gets another one, baby. TB12. Don't doubt him. Every time you guys doubt him, it just fuels that fire. So
right.
But enough of that mess. We'll move along here. Going to skip around here a little bit. So there's rumors swirling in Houston that the Texans could trade J.J. Watt. We all know the craziness that's surrounding Deshaun Watson right now. Mm-hmm. He's saying he's not playing. They're saying, we're not giving up on him. But J.J. Watt, we know the injury history. And with these issues surrounding Deshaun Watson, do you see J.J. Watt going somewhere else?
I do. I mean, he's at the point in his career where he wants to play for a contender, and he's got some couple years left, and he can really help a defense, help a team, and obviously Houston there's something going on there. Bill
O'Brien, I mean, he's chasing the championship. Let's face it.
Yeah, I could definitely see him going somewhere that's needs some help on the defense line, or is looking for that next piece on the defense and locker room guy to really get it going for him. And he needs to go play for a contender too. He's got 2 years left.
I think the days of these players finishing their career with one team, a la Derek Jeter with the New York Yankees, a la whatever. My brain's locking up, but whatever player has played 1 year with a team, and we've seen this coming in the past. Joe Montana eventually got pushed to Kansas City. Even Peyton Manning eventually went to the Denver Broncos. Tom Brady, he eventually went to Tampa Bay. So I think the days of being committed to one team is over. Especially if you still have a lot left in the tank. LaDainian Tomlinson left the Chargers, went to the Jets. I just don't think you're going to see Michael Jordan went to the Wizards.
Right.
I mean, how crazy is that? I just don't think the days of going back to this, Derek Jeter with the Yankees forever, I think those days are probably gone. There's questions around your guy Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer. Maybe 20 years ago I didn't believe this, but nowadays with everything that's going on, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
The coach can say one thing, the player can say one thing, the GM can say one thing, but if there's a shadow of a doubt nowadays, there's probably a good chance there's some fire behind that smoke, because you can't have smoke without the fire. So
right. Well, then I know they got the new coach coming into Houston, and hopefully he gets things righted there. But I mean, it's just been, a lot of disarray there in Houston the last few years, so that probably has quite a bit to do with him looking to move on to.
Right. Don't get me.
Oh, go ahead.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. See you, Deshaun. See you, JJ. You all go somewhere else. I'm happy to see that. But the new head coach is, from what I've seen, he's reached out, and Deshaun's not replied back. So,
right.
You're firing equipment managers, and JJ Watt spoke out about that. That's like an unwritten rule. You don't do that. You don't fire your equipment managers. I don't care if they've been there for 20 years and 5 head coaches. That's something you kind of don't do. So,
right.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Houston right now.
That has a lot to do with him probably wanting to get out of there too and wanting to go. Well, going to play for a contender at this point in his career is a big thing too. But
for JJ, why would you want? Why would you not? Do you want to go play with your brother JJ or both of your brothers actually up there in Pittsburgh? Do you want to go somewhere else and chase a ring? I get it when you've put your heart and soul into a team and you've not won, and that kind of tells me that he knows he has limited years left.
Right.
He's wanting that ring, and that's what you play for, really. I mean, it's not about the money or whatever, but you're really wanting that ring. So that kind of tells me he's looking for a chance to get that championship that's eluded him for so long. So just curious to see where he'll land. With the injury history and what he's being paid, I think if they get the right deal, they kind of move on from him.
Yeah, definitely could see that. Absolutely.
Ravens outside linebacker Matt Judon is reportedly going to seek $20 million per year in free agency, and that seems like a lot for him. But he was really the Ravens' best pass rusher, so I can kind of see him holding them over the barrel. Like, look, I was your best guy. You're going to pay me what you want, or I'm going elsewhere.
Right.
Don't know that he gets that elsewhere, but you never know.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been pretty productive the last few years. And like you said, he's been probably their best pass rusher. So, after he's had he had 6 sacks this year. He had 9.5 sacks in 2019. So he's played well, and he's looking to cash in and for a team looking for a pass rusher. So we'll see. I don't know if he'll get it, like you said, but I guess we'll find out who's looking for a pass rusher and where they have him, on their board as far as free agents. So,
all right, and we're closing in on that. I think it's sometime 1st of March, I believe I saw when that free agency opens up.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but I think it's end of February, 1st of March. So we're closing in on that. Plenty of time to get on that stuff.
Yep.
2 more things here. The NFL expects the 2021 salary cap to be $185 million, which I think is pretty high considering what they expected it to be. If that's the case, I think that helps a number of teams. I know there's some teams that are still strapped against the cap, and I really don't understand all that. I wish we had our guy Waltner on from the Capology. He is a genius when it comes to this stuff. He can reel it in and tell you who's doing what and what this means. But I got to think $185 million is higher than they expected. I got to think that helps all these teams right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep, definitely agree. It's probably more than they expected, and definitely don't know the ins and outs of the cap, but I'm with you on it. I definitely think it helps them.
Right. And then our last piece before we get going to what everybody's looking for, the last piece is some sad news, actually. The passing of legendary great head coach Marty Schottenheimer the past few days. He's such a freaking good coach. Hate to hear that. Coached with the Chiefs, the Broncos. Can't remember. I think he coached somewhere else, but I can't remember where it is. A winner wherever he went. Just sad to see those guys pass like that.
Yeah, definitely sad to see a coach that went a lot of places, won a lot of games. Definitely sad news.
And I think that ends our news and notes. Before we get to our main event, we got to do some promoting. This stuff ain't free. We got some cost, as everybody finds out when they do podcasting or radio shows or TV shows, you got some cost that you got to cover. So you look out for the sponsors and partnerships. And our sponsor, Action 24/7 Sports betting site is a locally owned betting site out of Nashville. It's for the people, by the people of Tennessee. Unfortunately, you have to live in the state of Tennessee to be able to use it and bet, but we have a lot of followers from here in the state, so lots of good stuff going on. They're doing all kinds of promotions. They're doing all kinds of local visits at bars and stuff in Nashville and the surrounding areas. I'm trying to get them to come up here to Morristown and do something so I can go see them. But this week, we're kind of a couple days behind. So starting tomorrow, they're doing a basketball parlay with insurance. Build a 6-leg parlay on a basketball games. Get a 20% refund if it doesn't hit. I mean, who does that? You do a 6-leg parlay and it doesn't hit, and they'll give you 20% of it back if it doesn't hit if you got this insurance. That's just crazy. Saturday they're doing a soccer parlay insurance. 4-leg parlay, you get the insurance, 20% refund. Saturday, the MMA, for all you UFC and fighters and stuff like that, bet on every fight, the entire card, and get your average losing stake back. And then on Sunday, they're doing a bet on the winner of the Australian Open match. These guys, man, they cover everything. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, MMA, tennis. You can bet on dart throwing. You can bet on ping pong. I mean, they cover it. Such a good site. I've been on there numerous times. Very simple to use. It's just so easy to use. It's so clean. And even if you don't like to bet real money, they have a free version where you can win money. You can win prizes. Just go in there, submit your picks, and hopefully you'll win one. And then, like right here, giveaways, Valentine's weekend. Here we go. The ultimate sports date night. They're going to be running a giveaway on social media starting tomorrow. Well, actually Tuesday, starting today. So they started today, but the winning couple gets a Tennessee team jersey for both people. Their choice could be Preds, Grizzlies, Titans, or any Tennessee college. Tennessee Vols football, Tennessee Vols basketball, baseball, whatever. Dinner at one of our partner bars or restaurants, and some other Valentine's goodies courtesy of Action 24/7. So it's not only about you; it's also they're going to help your significant other. I mean, this is a couples package right here. I mean, they're doing so. I mean, you can't even keep up with this. Action 24/7 is the only sports book in the state that accepts cash. They have more than 100 locations across the state where you can make cash deposits or withdrawals. Every week they're doing something special, and I would be remiss if I didn't be a little selfish here. Help us out at IDP Nation. We do have some cost with, our podcast loading and stuff like that. So if you will use the promo code Hollywood100, all capital, Hollywood 100, up to $100. Up to $150. If you'll make your deposit, use that promo code, they will match it. So, it's a win-win right now. So many things going on. Use the promo code at Hollywood 100 and get your match and do that and get in on all these prizes. Follow me on Twitter. I'm retweeting everything they do. You can follow them at Action 24/7. If you don't want to follow me, you can follow them. So many things going on. We've had a couple listeners that's joined, and they love it. It's a simple site. It's really clean, easy to use. So, if you're a gambling type or you just want to play for free, go join them, help us out, and cover all that. I wish you could use it, Kyle, but you're up there in the Great North,
I'm up here in the cold. It's awesome though. Quite the options there. Lots of different games to bet on and opportunities. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I'm up here in the cold, so I can't. But get in on the action if you can.
Yeah, I wished I was in the cold. I love the cold. we'll get on that another day. We got a lot to talk about, but yeah, I know one of our listeners, Sean, he follows us everywhere, does everything we do. He's joined. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
Be like Sean and join and get your goodies and enter for this. They gave away TVs for the Super Bowl and everything else. I mean, they're constantly giving away good stuff. So enough about that. So now here we go. This is what we all been waiting for. This is what we've been tweeting about all night. The main event. And I've got to wet my whistle because this is going to be good right here.
Yeah, you got to get ready for the fire, man.
You know, I tweeted this out that we were recording tonight, and it took off like freaking gangbusters. And it didn't hit me till just, a couple hours before I think you asked me, what are we going to talk about tonight? I was like, you know what? Let's do this. This is something that had been happened 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Somebody had mentioned it's been in the back of my mind. So I thought, you know what? The season's over. The Super Bowl's done. Now is as good a time as any. So tonight, for the main event, we're going to do linebacker 1 discussion. That's right. Who's the LB1? Fantasy. And I know a lot of people get confused or they think differently. They're thinking actual NFL. They're thinking straight fantasy. So there's some discussion, but we are a fantasy show. So we're going to stick with the fantasy side. So, I mean, our questions, we'll get to our listener questions here in a minute. So let's go ahead and hit the main event. Then we'll get to those linebacker L1 discussion. And I'm going to start. I'm going to start from 1 to 5. I kind of went back and forth, 5 to 1, 1 to 5. But I'm going to go 1 to 5. Kyle, you can give your 1 to 5, and then we'll kind of break them down. And then our listener questions just kind of lit us up tonight. So, so 1 to 5 for me, and I tweeted this a few weeks ago. My new number 1 is Devin White. Then I'm going to go Roquan Smith, Darius Leonard, Blake Martinez, Zach Cunningham. Now I know we're not rating our top 5, but me and Kyle kind of talked about this. We're going to do the top 5. I think that's my top 5 right now. Go ahead and give your top 5, and then we'll kind of get into this.
Sure. Pretty similar. Number 1, I have Devin White as well. Number 2, Darius Leonard. Number 3, Roquan Smith. Number 4 will be Blake Martinez. And number 5 for me is my boy Fred Warner.
Okay, cool.
So that's where we differ, I guess. That last one. Well, we had a little different order.
A little different order at the top. Yeah. Well, after the top.
Right.
I know some of our listener questions have lit a fire under our asses, so to speak. So if you've been following me and Kyle on Twitter, you can kind of see some of this stuff. Actually, I love that you agree with me, Kyle, on Devin White.
Yep.
And we will get to him in just a minute. You had Roquan at 2?
I had him at 3. I have Darius Leonard at 2.
Okay, so this is where I want to go here. Here's where I want to go. And I want to touch on Devin White at 1 here in just a minute. And maybe I'm just off whack here. Because I think it needs some really good insight. For me, I have Devin White and Roquan ahead of Darius for a couple of reasons. I think what they have shown with their teams and what is surrounding them they are a little better fantasy-wise than Darius. Darius, for me, is still probably maybe the top linebacker, but when you are adding options such as DeForest Buckner in front of you, I think that's kind of took away from his value because team-wise, he's not having to do it all anymore. Does that make sense to you?
I get what you're saying. They're adding to the defense. It's shaping up to be a different defense than it was when he originally came in the league a couple years ago. I get it. The Roquan Smith, Darius Leonard argument, you're not going to get much of an argument out of me because I'm a big fan of both. I think they're both
Smith and Leonard is really close, is it not?
Right. It is. I have Leonard at 2, Roquan Smith at 3. I'm happy with either of them on my team. I think they're both fantastic. They're both young linebackers. They've both missed a few games in their career. I mean, so they're both studs in my book, and I'm happy to have either of them. I just give Leonard a little bit of the tick because I'm a huge fan of his. I was a huge fan of Roquan Smith coming out of Georgia as well, and he's really, really turned it on this year. He almost had 100 solos this year. He had 98, I believe. He had 18 tackles for loss. So, I mean, he really made an impact. And you're really not going to find much of an argument on me to have Roquan or Darius Leonard flip there. I have Leonard at 2. I could easily move Roquan Smith to 2 at some point as well. I think they're both fantastic young linebackers and expect big production out of them for years to come here. So,
right. And this was hard for me to decide how I wanted to go 1 through 5 or 5 through 1. So my apologies. We're going to bounce back here. I got Roquan at 2. I think I think Devin White and Roquan jump Leonard because of the talent around them. And I know people are going to roast me over Devin White, but I think he jumps Roquan because of overall talent and game. So I guess I got to explain myself here. Darius Leonard, I think, regardless of the talent around him or the scheme, I think most would agree that Darius Leonard is the LB1 NFL-wise. Now, when you go to fantasy, I think Roquan Smith just a tad younger, if I'm correct, but he has less around him as far as a linebacking core and that front four than what Darius Leonard has, which I think limits Leonard's opportunities. For Devin White, he probably has one of the best teams around him as anybody. Shaq Barrett, JPP, Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh, even Levante David.
Who's going to be a free agent.
Right, but I'll get into this, and this is where I'm going with this. Devin White, even with all that talent, even on the back end with Antoine Winfield and those guys, he's still the LB1 in fantasy right now.
Yeah. I have him at 1 as well. It's new for me. I had Leonard at 1 for the longest time, and I have White at 1 as well. I think he really took it to the next level this year. I mean, 140 tackles, 97 solos, 9 sacks. I mean,
right.
9 sacks, man. 15 tackles for loss and 9 sacks. That's big time,
And we're talking here, we're chatting here, we're discussing, we're breaking it down. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're Blake Martinez fan. You're hating on him." No, I'm not hating on Blake. Blake is my number 4. He received all the hate in Green Bay. Rodgers coming back. His numbers are going to dip. Nope, they didn't. Oh, he's going to the Giants. His numbers are going to dip. A new team. Nope, they didn't. You know what Blake is? He's nothing flashy. Nothing flashy, but he's going to give you 150 tackles every single freaking year. Anything outside of that, sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles, recoveries, that's a bonus. I'm taking that as a bonus. You give me that 150 tackles every year, I'm locked in. And then my number 5 is Zach Cunningham, which our questions will get to this. I think he's locked in as a top 5 guy. But getting back to Devin White, and this is what really kind of sparked this. Devin White, for me, people are going to say, Darius Leonard. I get it. I'm not hating Darius Leonard. I think injuries kind of get him the last year or so. But you got different talent around him. You got a DeForest Buckner. You've got a Bobby Okereke. You've got a Walker next to him at linebacker. You got what is it? Glover up front.
Are we talking?
For Indianapolis, Glover.
Up front, they got DeForest Buckner.
DeForest Buckner, somebody else, Glover. I want to say Andrew Glovner, but that's not right. But anyway, they got somebody else up front, a veteran, and I think that takes away from Darius Leonard. The reason that I have Devin White number 1, Roquan had a 3 or 4 week stretch there towards the end of the season where he just lit up everybody with the tackles, the interceptions, and that's fine. I think that kind of pushes him ahead of Darius Leonard. But for me, my new LB1 is Devin White. And let's go back and look here. We'll start week 12.
It was Grover Stewart. That's who we were. That's
Grover Stewart. That's who I'm thinking of.
You threw me off with the Glover, but yeah, Grover Stewart.
Thank you. Well, this is where Dan's like, you bastard. You pay attention. But thank you, Kyle. You've earned your money tonight.
Hey, man, I ain't good for much, but I got you.
Hey, I got you, brother. Love you. So let's start at week 12. And I'm trying to give you my breakdown of Devin White, why he's the new number 1. You start at week 12. Kansas City. How appropriate is that? Okay.
Right.
So week 12 against Kansas City, here's what we got. He has 12 total tackles, 9 solos. Okay. Week 13, he missed.
Bye week.
He was out with an injury.
Yep. Bye week.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Bye week. Week 14, 9 tackles, 7 solos. Week 15, 12 tackles, 10 solos. Week
4
16.
tackles for loss. 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, too.
Yes. And 2 pass deflections.
Right.
Week 16, 10 tackles, 10 solos, 1 sack, 2 TFLs. I mean, he was all over the place. Now you're starting the postseason. He didn't play in week 17. Week 18, you come back, week 19 versus New Orleans. 11 tackles, 10 solo, 1 TFL, 1 interception, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced or fumble recovery. Come back against Green Bay. Sorry, Kyle. 15 combined tackles, 9 solos, 1 fumble recovery. And then you go to the Super Bowl against Kansas City again, where this all started. 12 tackles, 8 solo, 2 TFLs, 1 interception, 1 pass deflection. Down the stretch, when you look at week 12, and you could probably even go back further than that, and I'm looking at it right now, like week 11 against the Rams, 9 tackles, 5 solo. Week 10, 6 tackles, 4 solo. That's kind of an iffy, but you go back the week before that, New Orleans, 14 tackles, 7 solos. I mean, the numbers are there, but this is where I'm focusing. Week 12 against Kansas City. The last time that Tampa Bay lost, And mind you, he's played 100% of the snaps every game that he played. If he suited up and was on the field, he played 100% of the snaps. And he also played roughly, I'm looking here, he played roughly 15% of the snaps on special teams. Devin White down the stretch from a week 12, 12, 9, 12, 10, 11, 15, and 12 tackle totals. In the regular season, he had no interceptions. In the postseason, 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He has solidified himself as the LB number 1 going. He has the age. He has the talent. He has the team around him.
Yep.
For me, it's a no-brainer. And I didn't think I would even go that far because, I love Darius Leonard. But I think Darius Leonard with DeForest Buckner and that guys around him, you're like, well, look at what Tampa Bay has, which is true. And how many times do you say this, Kyle? You have an LB1 on a team, a Leonard, Cunningham, whatever linebacker you want to say. Most of the time when you have an LB1 on a team, your LB2 is not good or as good. But Devin White has Levante David as his LB2, who is no slouch. And he's still putting up these freaking numbers.
Yep.
So for me, Devin White, clear cut, no doubt about it, LB1.
Yeah, no, he's my LB1 as well. I've been seeing a lot of Devin White love lately on the Twitterverse, and rightfully so. He's stepped up big for Tampa this year down the stretch. He's fantastic. He gets it done all over. Impact plays, tackles, you name it. Yeah, I mean, he's got it all. Like you said, I actually have – you had Blake Martinez at 4. I have Martinez at 4 as well. He went to the Giants, and he just kept on doing what he was doing in Green Bay. Another 150 tackle season. Blake's, like you said, not flashy. Doesn't have a ton of splash plays, but he's just a tackle machine, and he's just going to keep doing it. He's durable. He's out there every snap. Plays hurt, plays through it. He's reliable, rock steady. And then I had the one different player I had from you was I had Fred Warner at 5. I'm just been a huge Fred fan since he came to the league. He's just I think he's just a fantastic linebacker, fantasy wise and in the real NFL. Since his rookie year, he's had 100 tackle seasons each year, 124 total as a rookie, 118 his second year, and 125 this year. Played all 16 games every year. He gets it done against the run. He gets done in coverage, and I mean he's still young, and I think he's gonna continue to just keep producing for that San Francisco defense, and definitely a player I want on my team. I can generally never own enough Fred Warner, that's for sure. Big fan of his game. I think there's a lot of different players that could be in the discussion. A lot of good linebackers in the league. A lot of these guys are young and producing, and there's going to be another rookie class incoming that's going to shake things up down the road here, and it's a lot of good debate whenever you're talking linebackers and IDP, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Love to hear the different thoughts, the different views, the different aspects of us in the fantasy industry, because I think, when you take the fantasy aspect out of it, I think everybody kind of agrees, Darius Leonard's the creme de la creme of linebackers. But when you break it down as far as fantasy, I think it changes a little bit. I think with what they have with DeForest Buckner in front of him, Grover, that helps what they're building, with Anthony Walker, with Bobby Ariki. I think the talent around him, especially the addition of DeForest Buckner. I think that more than any one player affected Darius Leonard more than anything. And then I think when you look at Devin White, how impressive is it that he has a Levante David playing next to him? How impressive is it that he has JPP, Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh, and he's still putting up these type of numbers? So I know a lot of people get skewed, and I do it as well. You have to separate reality NFL from fantasy. And I think when you do that and you go back and look at what Devin White has done, especially down the stretch, and I started at week 12 because that's the last time that Kansas City lost, or Tampa Bay lost, was to Kansas City. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 6 of those 7 games, he had double-digit tackles. The one game he didn't, he had 9 tackles. He had no interceptions during the regular season. In the postseason, he had 2 interceptions. He had 2 pass deflections. And I think we have seen Devin White elevate his game to another level. And I don't think we've seen the best from him yet.
I think we need to get you a Devin White jersey.
Hey, somebody send me one. I will wear that motherfucker all day. I will hang it back here on my wall over my Titan stuff. It will happen. Tell me I'm wrong, Kyle. Tell me.
I'm not gonna do it.
You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna do it.
Well, some people may tell me. We'll get into that.
Right.
You know, Dan would probably argue me up and down just because he wants to be an asshole and he don't like me. But hey, he's probably like, you know what? He's right, but I'm not going to agree with him. But whatever. So it's, but really, I mean, do you think Darius Leonard has fallen behind Devin White and Roquan Smith?
I think they're all close. Like I said, I have Leonard at 2, Roquan at 3. I'm not going to argue either way. I wouldn't argue with Leonard at 1 and White at 2. I really wouldn't. I think all 3 of them are just fantastic players, and there's just good years to come too. They're going to keep getting it done. So,
see, I'm with you. I think Smith and Leonard are close in group, but I think with what Devin White did from week 12 on, especially in the postseason,
everybody remembers what you just did, right?
Exactly.
Lately, so.
What did you do? Exactly. What did you do for me lately?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did you break my heart yesterday? Did you tell me I'm the love of your life? Whatever, you know, that's what people remembers. And I don't think that what Devin White has done since week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, then 3 weeks of the playoffs, that's the last 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And he has been dominant without question.
Yep.
Roquan had that little stint there where he had the interceptions, the tackles, whatever for the Bears. Then he kind of disappeared. I know they weren't in the playoffs, but, Leonard didn't make the playoffs. He's been the overall number 1 for the past 2 years. You know, I tweeted a few weeks back, or almost a month back, I guess, Devin White's my new LB1, and I'm not hating it, and it's not close for me.
He's my number 1 too. I think this is a good segue to this first listener question that talks about your boy.
Yeah. Awesome, Kyle. See, this is where Dan picks up. Good job. Dan who? We don't even know Dan no more. Our first listener question. Barry Baker at Barry Baker 8664, and you know what, he's been in every single week. Yeah. Thank you, Barry. He wants to know which linebacker will be the first to fall out of the top 10, Devin White or Roquan Smith. Go ahead. I'll let you go first because I'm dominating the conversation. I feel
No,
like.
hey, it's all good, man. I said Roquan Smith. I mean, I think they're both going to be in the top 10 for a while. Devin White's my number one linebacker right now, so I have Roquan at 3. So obviously, I like Devin White a little more. And like you said, I think Devin White's he's been awesome and he's been great down the stretch. And I wouldn't go with Roquan to be the first one. I think Devin White is just going to be there for a while.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm with you because I don't. You want my honest opinion? I don't think either one of those guys, Devin White or Roquan Smith, I don't think either one of them fall out of the top 10. I really don't.
Right, I don't either. And if I had to pick one, it'd be Roquan, but I don't think either of them will, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. You're pointing a gun to my head, making me choose.
Yep.
I think it's Roquan. But even then, I don't think that it happens, or if it does, it's really close.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep.
So yeah, thank you, Barry. You've chimed in each and every week. Thank you for listening. Love the question.
Thanks, Barry.
Yep. Moving along here, our boy J Bow at Joe Bowen 731. He wants to know: is Matt Milano a good enough player to not be landing spot dependent, assuming he gets a similar and healthy playing time? Does he stay in Buffalo? Does he get the same amount of reps? Does he stay healthy? Oh, man. I like Buffalo's system because they reward tackles there. Is he good enough player to not be landing spot dependent? I don't think he is. You know, if he plays in Buffalo, gets traded, for example, to Green Bay, a team like that rewards tackles highly, I think that's in his advantage. He goes somewhere else. That's a tough one, Kyle. I don't know that he's the same player or same fantasy value in another team like that.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm a big Milano fan. I've always thought Milano was a pretty solid linebacker. You know, this year he was banged up. He had a really good 2019 where he had his first 100 tackle year. He actually had 9 pass deflections that year too, which is getting it done in coverage. Yeah, and you know, he's played alongside Tremaine Edmonds since they drafted him, so he's played alongside another linebacker, and he still produced. You'd like to see him go to a good system because Buffalo is a good spot to be. It's a great spot for a linebacker and IDP for points. I think as long as I think he could do well in a lot of systems. I really do. I think he's a solid linebacker. Don't know that his numbers will be the same. Do they go up or down? But I'm rostering him for sure. I think Milano's a good linebacker, and I think he can do well somewhere. But
okay, let me drop this.
Okay,
4 years. He's a 4-year guy. Played all 4 years in Buffalo. 2017, 49 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 interception. Next year, 2018, 78 tackles, 1 sack, 3 interceptions. 2019, 101 tackles, 1.5 sacks, no interceptions. And he's played 13 games more in all 3 of those seasons. Now, 2020, 45 tackles, major drop, career low, but he had 3.5 sacks, 1 interception. But he only played 10 games.
He only started 5 too. They cut his snaps way down when he came back, so he didn't.
He only started 5. You are correct.
Right. Yeah. And they were kind of keeping him on snap count.
About snaps, you want to go from He went from 41%, 73%, 86%. Then last year he only played 30%. A major drop.
Right. They were managing his reps with that pec injury, I believe it was this year. So,
and I think so. I think you're right. But for me, I think if he leaves Buffalo or doesn't go to a team like Green Bay, for an example, I think you put him somewhere on a team where they don't reward tackles. I think his value takes a big hit.
I mean, it would definitely take a little bump in my book too. But I think he's a solid linebacker. Be interested to see where he goes. Does he stay? I'd like to see him stay in Buffalo. I think they should do what they can to keep. I think him and Edmonds are a good duo there, for that defense. So we'll see. We'll see where he goes.
Right. Good question there.
Very good question.
And then, man, this is where Twitter lit fire tonight. Our boy started. Yeah, here it is. Instigator, poking the bear. DFF Trip, better known as Stat Monkey Boy, back in the day for us at IDP Nation. He wants to know who is the most overrated, if I could speak, who is the most overrated linebacker going into 2021? Oh my God, here we go. And why is it Zach Cunningham? Kyle, you're gonna have to deal with him because I can't right now with Trip. I can't.
He struck a nerve with you there.
Oh, he struck a nerve, and it's like one of those. It's like a toothache. You kind of feel it. You know it's gonna hurt, and then all of a sudden, bam! Nerve.
Well, then he poured more fuel on the fire by sending a cropped picture or a snapshot or whatever. Adams. Oh no, it was just a picture Adam sent out. Adam IDP at Big 3 of his mixed rankings without Zach Cunningham in it. Just pour fuel on the fire. Yeah, the top 20. That's what it was. You had the top 25, and it turns out Cunningham was 26. And
here I am walking through fire with gasoline shorts on, and Trip and Adam, man, they're provoking me. I told you, Kyle, don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Well, I think Adam said pump the brakes, guys. I got him at 26, and he kind of faded out of the picture there.
Yeah, he's taking a back seat 26. But I'm like, what? 26? Zach Cunningham at 26? What? That's crazy talk. Tell me I'm wrong, Kyle. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, I kind of understand why people think Cunningham could be overrated.
Oh, my God, Kyle. Don't do this to me. Don't do it.
I'm not that I don't like Cunningham, but he's been known to miss a tackle or two in his day.
You know what? I'll give you that. He has been known to miss a tackle or two. He has been known to miss a play or two.
Yeah. And those snaps kind of went all over the place for a few weeks. I know they picked back up to finish the season, but there was a little dip in snaps there for a few weeks. So it just a couple red flags came up this year.
There is, and I will give you that. I will give you guys that. But last year, I predicted him to be in the top 5 in fantasy.
You did.
And
you did.
And just about probably, I'd have to go back and double check. But I think in 80% of my leagues, he was just that, a top 5 fantasy IDP, a top 5 linebacker fantasy IDP. And did you not listen to what we said earlier in the show? Deshaun Watson wants no part of that team. And I know it's not IDP. He wants no part of Houston right now. They got rid of Andre Hopkins.
Yep.
Watson wants out. There's rumors swirling like crazy around J.J. Watt being gone. Other than Tyrell Adams, who was a godsend waiver wire for Houston and fantasy owners or fantasy managers, excuse me. Other than that, what else does Houston have? Zach Cunningham is a top 5 legit IDP option. You're facing Derrick Henry twice a year. He's going to run it 20, 25 times right down your throat. So that's probably 10 plus tackles right there. You got Jonathan Taylor up there in Indianapolis. He is just coming into his own, which is scary. He's probably going to give you 15, 20 carries right down your throat. You got James Robinson down there in Jacksonville. They got rid of Leonard Fournette. Now they got this kid coming in. You know what? Despite everything that's going on, and you want to cut J.J. Watt out, you want to cut Deshaun Watson out, even with them there, he was still a top 5 fantasy option last year. How can you not put him in your top 5? Tell me I'm wrong, Kyle.
Look, I mean, I get it. I do get it. He put up the numbers, and you called it, and he had a great year.
I did.
He put up some. He won 100.
Pat on the back, Kyle.
Pat on the back, man.
Pat on the back, baby.
Right? I'm torn both ways with it. I get it. I mean, I guess all I was saying is I see the caution that some people have. I have a little myself with the missed tackle issues and the playing time dip in and the issues in coverage from time to time, and but that's all.
What's your main concern with him? I get it. The missed tackles, the playing time.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest things for me, I would say.
And we're ranking our top 5. We had Devin White, we had Roquan Smith, we had Darius Leonard, depending on the order. You got Blake Martinez, and despite what people say, you know how bad Green Bay missed him.
Oh, I do.
I thought it was funny a few years ago. Aaron Rodgers will be back. He was hurt. He didn't miss a freaking beat. 150 plus tackles.
Yep.
Trade him to New York Giants. Oh, he can't do that. Guess what? 150 plus tackles.
Yep.
You can pencil Blake Martinez in for 150 plus tackles every year. Anything after that, sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles, recoveries, that's a bonus to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because in fantasy, those 150 plus tackles, that's huge.
Yep.
So, I think that's my top 4. But Zach Cunningham, getting back to the story, look what he did this year. He's a top 5 fantasy option at linebacker. And now you're going to take Deshaun Watson, their best offensive player, away from them. You already traded DeAndre Hopkins away. Now you're going to take J.J. Watt possibly away, trade him somewhere else, because I think that's happening. He's going to play somewhere else. I really believe that.
Yeah.
So, with those weapons gone, Houston is going to be bad. Thank you. They're going to be bad. And I think when you have a team that bad, the stars are kind of aligning for Zach Cunningham.
Right. I mean, the tackle opportunities certainly should be there.
Yeah. I feel like I'm dominating the conversation, Kyle. You're going to have to tell me shut the hell up like Dan.
You're more passionate about Zach Cunningham than I am. Like I said, I pumped the brakes a little bit on him. I get it.
Or have I had a few more than you have?
Well, hey, that's all right, man. We're having fun here.
This is why I like you more than I like Dan. Dan who? Dan who?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I said it. Dan who? Anyway, Trip, you started this. We'll be in touch.
I don't think this conversation's over.
It's not done. It's not over by any means. We need to move along here.
Yep.
J Bell at Joe Bowen 731. He says, did Alex Smith show enough in Pittsburgh for the Steelers to let Bud Dupree walk? And I'll let you go ahead.
Alex Highsmith, yeah, he obviously was going to be a little drop off when Dupree got hurt, being that Highsmith was a rookie. There's always a learning curve, right?
Right.
I was a big fan of Highsmith coming out of Charlotte. I like he is built for that 3-4 outside linebacker in Pittsburgh. The size he is he's a pass rusher. He's crafty. He's a high motor dude. He gets after it quick. He started off right, like I said, a learning curve. He got better as he got more reps, and actually his last 3 games, he started to string some games together. He had over his last 3, he had 22 tackles, 13 solos, 1 sack, and 4 quarterback hits. So a nice finish for him there. I don't know what kind of cap situation they're in. So, I mean, I do think if they like what they saw towards the end of the season there when he got his feet under him and got adjusted to the NFL game and had a little bit of a nice finish, they could move on from Dupree and go that route and save a little money, right?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. I mean, you're right. I agree with you on all that. Going back to my grading system over the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, something I'm working on. Not a finished product by any means. But in his draft class, Alex Highsmith, according to my system, was a top 5 option. IDP overall, he was a top 5 option.
Nice.
And he ranked right up there with Max Crosby, who was also a top 5 guy. So, some of the concern was Alex Highsmith in college. Who did he play? The competition level. I get that. But he dominated that level like he should. Mm-hmm. Now you put him against competition a little bit steeper, a little bit more intense. I think he held his own.
Yeah.
I do think he showed enough for Pittsburgh to consider moving on.
Right.
But I don't know that it's them moving on from Dupree as Dupree moving on from them. Because as we all know, when free agency hits and money is flying like left and right,
yeah,
money talks and bullshit walks.
Right.
So, I think Dupree kind of follows the money. Does he think Pittsburgh gives him the best chance to win a championship? I don't know. Does somebody offer him enough money? Tennessee? Whoever? Because I'd like him in Tennessee, really. Do they offer him enough money to say, hey, we're building something here that's better than what you got, and here's the bankroll to prove it?
Right.
Does he chase the money? I don't know. A lot of times players like that, they do chase the money because you got to look at age. You got to look at when's their next payday coming. I think Dupree is high. His value is high as it's going to be right now. So I think he chases the money and leaves Pittsburgh. And if that's the case, then yes, Alex Highsmith has shown enough for Pittsburgh to believe in him, especially when you have Hayward, Tuitt, Devin Bush,
TJ White on the other side, just wreaking havoc.
When you have that team, then it's easy for them to say, you know what, Dud Dupree, go ahead and chase your money. Go ahead and get your payday. We're still good. So
go get you some Alex Highsmith.
Yes. I think he's a great buy low. I think he's a great dynasty option for me. Yes, Alex Highsmith is a guy for you.
Yep, I agree. Get you some Highsmith. I agree with everything you said. I could see Dupree taking the money elsewhere. Even though he had the injury, people know he was produced. It's always nice when you're rushing opposite of guys like TJ Watt. You got Cameron Hayward and Stephon Tuitt.
Devin Bush behind you, Vince Williams behind you, Avery Williamson behind you. I mean, Edmonds in the secondary, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty loaded on defense. So, I do think Highsmith is a great option for you to buy right now.
Yep. No, I'm definitely agree with that.
Good job, Kyle. You survived another week. Okay. Continuing on, man, we had so many good questions this week. Dynasty Santa at Dynasty Santa. He wants to know Dre Greenlaw outlook. Feel like he's a screaming value at the moment. You know what? I kind of agree with that because everybody's on Fred Warner. You know, Nick Bosa. You're on those guys up front. I think you're right. I think Greenlaw is a great buy low option. I think his acquiring value, what you can invest, the value that you invest in him now, the return is going to be so greater than that. So yeah, I'm in on Greenlaw. How about you, Kyle?
I am as well. I'm in on Greenlaw. Quan Alexander's gone now. When Quan went out, when he was injured and stuff, Greenlaw came in and was really good for that defense. Alexander's gone. I think Greenlaw's a good linebacker. I think him and Fred Warner are a really good tandem together. Great question, and I agree. I think the outlook is good, I think, and I think he's a great value, like our dude Dynasty Stan says. So yeah, I'm in on Greenlaw. Definitely get you some.
Awesome. Good job, Kyle. Good job. All righty. Whew. Man, we've been active tonight, and I want to thank everybody that submitted questions, all these questions and trades and whatever. Thank you. This is what we're here for. Our last one for tonight comes from at Dynasty Bash at Bushido 78, and his question is: do you look for certain metrics in linebackers, or do you do your scouting more film-based? For me, I'm a big film guy. I love breaking down film, watching games. You know, I think film can tell you so much. I mean, it really can. It just, if you really get into it, you can, if you focus, especially if you focus on the player. And his second part of his question is, where would you plant Micah Parsons right now in Dynasty Leagues? So for me, I have watched Micah Parsons for the past 3 years. Freshman, sophomore, opted out, of course. But his first 2 years, I have watched a ton of his film, seen what he's good at, seen what he's bad at. For me, I'm a big film guy. You know, I know and excuse me, Kyle. Al Davis, height, weight, speed, that's what he was after.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. If you have the size, you have the weight, and you have the speed, I get it. Huge, huge, huge. But for me, if you have those things and you don't know how to use them, then what good is it? You know, I'll look at the film too. You know, how did you play against, and this is one of my big things, how did you play against the inferior competition? In other words, if you're an SEC player, how did you perform against Division II competition? You know, basically bye weeks when Alabama are playing Division II competition. Also, how did you play when you were playing the elite? How did Alabama play when they were playing Georgia or LSU or Florida or whoever? LSU. I think there is a lot to be learned from film. And that's on any player. It doesn't matter if you're an SEC guy or if you're a ACC guy or if you're a Division II guy. Film tells you so freaking much about your game. Now, as far as metrics and stats, you know, your height, weight, build, you know, did you have 500 tackles in Division II, but who did you play? and how many tackles did you have against who? It's kind of a balancing act. For me, I'm a film guy. I believe in film. I don't know about you, Kyle, but film is where, you can go to the combine and you can. Here's my problem. You can go to these training camps or whatever competitions, and they can train you to run fast. They can train you to jump high. They can train you to run this shuttle. They can train you to do this. But your game film will tell you more. When the game is on the line, when you're in that heated battle, how did you perform in coverage? How did you do as a pass rusher? How did you do as an edge or an outside linebacker? I'm a true believer in film. For me, I think that tells you more than anything. But there is components where your height, weight, speed, your testing, how high did you jump, how fast did you run. I get it. I love it. That is a factor. Kyle, where do you differ from me?
No, I'm a film guy as well. I like to watch the player. I like to see how they react. What do their instincts look like? Can they successfully drop back in front of linebacker? Can they turn their hips and drop in coverage? Do they got a good feel in zone? Can they stick with the tight end and running back in man coverage? Do they get downhill with authority? Do they flow with the play and stop the outside run? I'm a film guy too. I like to watch the game and see what my eyes tell me. And it's always nice when the metrics match up to what you see. The guy, what's his play speed look like compared to what does he run? If you're questioning, does he have the sideline to sideline range? There's always like Chris Borland was one guy that always sticks out. I know his career was short, but when he came out of Wisconsin, everybody said he's got short arms, or does he quite have the range? But the guy was just had great instincts, and he knew how to play the game, and he was just a tackle machine. He was awesome for his short span that he played in San Francisco. But he was a guy everybody had questions about, but he had it, He just knew how to play the game, and he had good instincts and awareness, and he filled his run gaps. And I'm a big film guy as well. It's always nice when the metrics do match up, though. Like last year, Logan Wilson out of Wyoming, he checked in with 6'3", 243 or 242, and then weren't quite sure how fast he was. He looked like he had pretty good play speed, but they ended up running a 4.63 at the combine. You're like, okay, that's good. It's a solid number for a guy his size and speed. Tells you that he's probably got solid range. We have to be seen. He's still got to get a little more playing time in Cincinnati, but no. Anyway, not to get on a tangent, but definitely a film guy too. I like to watch the players. I enjoy watching the film. I like to see the different attributes different guys have. If they're a big linebacker, small linebacker, how they play through the trash and the traffic and get it done. Definitely something to be said about watching the film and seeing what a guy has. The metrics are good too, though. They tell you a lot of things as well, but I'd lean more towards film than what my eyes tell me. But it's good when they match up, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. As far as our breakdown of Parsons, second part of his questions, where do we rank him right now in Dynasty rankings? Man, so tough to break this down because he doesn't have a team. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I love Micah Parsons. I think he's as talented as any linebacker that we've seen in quite some time. But we all know landing position, what team you land with, is so freaking huge right now. So for me, Parsons is the LB1 without a doubt in this class. Let me see where he lands, and I'll tell you where he ranks.
Yeah, it's definitely tough without knowing. Man, if I had to put a number on it, though, he's probably going to creep into the top 20-ish range, maybe, around that 20 number.
Nice, Kyle. Nice.
It's tough to say.
Nice.
20, 25, just without knowing. I'm a big fan of his talent.
I am
Yeah.
too.
We'll see. Yeah, landing spot says a lot, though. We'll see. But definitely, he's gonna go, or he should go pretty high in the draft, and we'll see. But definitely like him as a player.
Cool. So, Dan would be passed out right now. He'd be like, "Oh my God, it's dark outside. I gotta go to bed." Great show tonight. And we will continue this conversation on our Patreon coming up next. Before we get to that, I want to thank myfantasyleague.com. They have been our sponsor for the IDP Invitational and so many of our other leagues, IDP Nation Listener Leagues 1 and 2. Thank them. They do so much as far as charity and that type of stuff. It seems like every day I'm seeing something that they do that no other league does. They set themselves far and apart from everybody else. You know what? I'm a big believer in you pay what you get for. Or you get what you pay for. Sorry. It's just like buying a tool. You go to Kmart or Walmart and you buy this crappy tool. Sure, you're getting a good deal on it, but you go to Sears and you buy your Craftsman tool. You're getting that lifetime guarantee. You're getting that quality award, and I think that's what MFL does. They set themselves apart. Like I said, they've helped us out on the IDP Invitational. They've helped us out on the IDP National Listener Leagues 1 and 2. Thank you for all that they do. And they're always updating their stuff, coming out, we're ahead of this, giving you updates on this. So thank them for that. And then our next sponsor, Trophy Smack. I know NFL season's over, so why don't you crown your champion with something else? And right here's a ring that they sent to us.
A lot of bling there.
It's a lot of bling. I'm telling you. Bling. Put your eyes out. Make you go blind. Bling, bling.
I take my glasses off. It's so bright.
Yeah. Take your glasses off, Kyle, because you're gonna go. You're gonna go. Oh my God, I can't see. But you know what? This ring isn't even the beginning of what they do. Trophies, belts, plaques, whatever. Even if you have a loser in your league, and I need to really pull that out, but they sent me something to show up for the losers in your league. You know what? Everybody loves to make the loser the toilet bowl winner of their league. They love to make them stand out. They have that type of stuff too. So go follow my page. I got it linked. Go follow TrophySmack.com. Use our link. Give us the help and get you something nice. And I'm telling you right now, this ring, I love this ring. We've showed it many times. And Dan can attest you, their belts hold no candle to this ring. Their belts are a freaking amazing. So, crown your champion. Super Bowl's over. It's time to pony up, whether you like them or whether you don't. Woo, Ric Flair style. Give them the love they deserve. That's right, Kyle. I see you laughing.
Yep.
Give them the love that they deserve. TrophySmack.com. Go follow my Twitter handle. You can see that post. Help us out. Help them out. Help us out. And it's a good time. Whew, damn, Kyle. We've been at this almost an hour and 25 minutes.
Good stuff, man.
freaking Dan would be dying around. He's like, oh my God, it's an hour. We're 25 minutes over an hour. I gotta go to bed. I gotta teach school tomorrow. What am I gonna do? Jesus Christ.
Hey, we had a lot to cover. A lot
This
of good
is your
questions.
fault, Kyle.
Hey, we had a lot of good questions to
Oh,
cover
yeah.
tonight.
Oh, shit, yeah. Our listener questions were on point.
They were awesome.
Hell,
A lot of good questions, and we had to make sure you got all your love out for Devin White. So,
Devin White? Was it Devin White?
yep.
I thought it was Roquan. Wait a minute. Was it Darius Leonard? Maybe, as Dynasty Trip said, Zach Cunningham's not a top 5 guy.
That's to be continued right there for you.
To be continued.
You and Trip need to hash this out.
Trip, Adam IDP, and you, Kyle. You're not leaving me alone. No.
No, I'm in. I want to hang out for the debate.
That's right. So, great show tonight, guys. Kyle, tell them where they can find you. Tell them what you do. Chuck
All
Norris.
right.
Chuck Norris. Trick Bruce Lee. It's all about Chuck Norris. Texas Walker Ranger. That's right.
I don't even know where to go with this. You can find me on Twitter at KBelf54. All my writings over at IDP, guys. The site's back up. It looks great. Nate did an awesome job. Looks really cool, easy to navigate. I just wrote an article on micros. I wrote a Devi IDP article. Check that out if you're interested. Working on rankings right now. And then we'll be working on our draft magazine still. So always available for any questions or music recommendations or whatever it is, man. Hit me up. Always down to chat.
Awesome.
Kyle,
you're too humble, dude. Too humble. Yes, by the way, IDP guys' site is back up and running, and it looks freaking amazing. Kyle done beat me to the punch. He's already got an article out. Go check it out. I'm like, oh my God, Kyle's done beating my ass here. A great article I read it today. Sorry, I was busy and didn't get to comment on as much as I'd like to, but
it's all good, man. I appreciate it.
Keep killing it, bro. Keep killing it.
Thanks, man. No, that's cool. Appreciate
Absolutely one of my favorite and best bringovers from any site. Kyle puts up with my shit. Screw you. But yeah, go check his stuff out. Go check out IDP, guys. It's back up and running. Oh man, we got so much freaking coming right now.
Mm-hmm.
Rankings, articles, freaking NFL, Devi. We got so much going on right now. It's not even crazy. Be sure to follow us. Check us out. As far as sponsors, Action 24/7. Be sure to check them out if you're in the gambling. Be sure to check out NFL because that's where most of my sites are held. I'm sure Kyle's and I know Dan's is for sure.
Yep.
They do so much charity stuff right now, so be sure to check them out. And you know what? Check out TrophySmack.com. I know football season's over. A lot of you are doing basketball and baseball is about to start up. They have something for everyone. Rings, trophies, plaques, freaking championship belts. Those belts are off the chain. So be sure to get something for your league champion. We thank all of y'all supporting us. And when you support them, you support us. We're not begging, but it does help us with our costs. So we appreciate everyone right now. Damn, Kyle, have you even spoke tonight?
I got a few words in.
You got a few words in? Well, okay. Yeah. That's about what Dan does. He gets a few words in, so we're good. So, oh, shit. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on IDP, guys. You can follow me at Reddit on King Titan 1, all this good stuff. And you know what? You want to know more about Micah Parsons and where he stands, how we value him? Guess what? You can hear plenty of that. You can get our in-depth insight if you're a Patreon. And you know what? If you're a Patreon, if you join our top tier, our boy at Ethan Turner will give you his IDP. Well, no, it's just not IDP. I take that back.
Offense and IDP.
Yeah, he will give you his injury guide, offense and IDP. But you're only going to get that if you join us as a top tier Patreon. So, me and Kyle, we got a lot to say in the next little bit. So, if you want to hear it, you know what? Join us on our Patreon. If not, we don't like you. You know, my boy Shane's worst. He's got this down to a science. He's like, you know what? I really like my top tier Patreons. If you're in the Patreon, screw you. I feel it. If you're in the Patreon, we don't even like you. We don't even know you right now. That's where I can hear Dan. He's cringing right now. He's cringing. He's like, oh my God, this is where we end. But Shane's a genius. Shane's a freaking genius. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. If you're not a top tier Patreon, eat shit. So, you know what? Love you, Shane. Love you, Sops. Do not trade with Sops and Madman, by the way, but whatever. Oh, see, you're falling off the wagon, Kyle. This is where Dan's cut me off on, and you just fall. Patreon up next. Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Fuck it. We're out, bastards.